Hello everybody, today I'll present to you my first ever video, a match analysis. I want to show you what goes through my mind whenever I play a game of Magic with a control deck, especially in Pioneer. First off, the opening hand, okay? So as you can see, we've got a full set of lands, that's fine, 4, beautiful number. We've got Supreme Verdict, which I think is extremely powerful. And whenever your hand is at least borderline to keep them all, I think Verdict puts it over the top and you should keep that, especially with all the lands to cast it. 2 opts to smooth out the draw a bit, playing against an unknown opponent on the draw, but I think the hand is magnificent. I think the hand is really good. Let's see what our opponent does. My opponent also plays Symmetry and passes. Now, if I look at my hand now, right, with the cards, with the cost descending left to right, because that's how I like to play, it doesn't change anything here, what they play. It's like my play will be always the same, which is Island and Go, the classic Island and Go. So what my opponent does here is play a Swamp and then proceed to cast a Scavenging Ooze. So what I'm thinking is like a green-black rock-ish style of deck, right? So, but probably with creatures, because a creature-less deck wouldn't play probably Ooze as the only creature, maybe Abzan, maybe Jund. But I'm probably thinking about green-black. And so I'll opt, because, why not? Azorius Charm. And let's pause for a moment, right? There will be a few decision points in the games, and I would like you to pause the video and think about it. That's the first one. Would you keep Azorius Charm? Right? Pause, think about it. I would personally bottom that, because my opponent's either creature-centric or not. If they are not creature-centric, Azorius Charm is bad. If they are creature-centric, I've got already 2 removal spells, while the creature which they have now is absolutely irrelevant, because eating cards from the graveyard is unimportant and it doesn't put much pressure on us. So in either case, I think that's a bottom. Okay, we draw a Castle Van Tress. Let's pass the turn. We draw another land. Okay, that's not the best, right? But again, we've got Blessed Alliance, right? The third mode will probably come in handy. So let's play a land, Glacial Fortress, and pass the turn. Right, preserving the castles for the late game. Now, opponent play the land and then proceeds to attack, which I think is a bit a slight misstep, because why show us the land? And they go to attacks. Now, you could either take the hit and just opt, or destroy the creature. And because I'm a big sucker for being mana efficient, I just Blessed Alliance it away. So let's Blessed Alliance it away, right? And then see what the opponent does next. Opponent will Thought Seizes us. Okay, so now it gets a bit trickier, right? Plays a Thought Seize, and then plays another Scavenging Ooze. Okay, sure, but then again we draw a Blessed Alliance. Okay, so let's play a land and pass. Why? I would not opt main phase here, because I think main phasing opt is much better when there is something sorcery speed you can draw off of it and then cast, as in a Planeswalker, Supreme Verdict. In this case, there is no card which I draw main phase, which would change my main phase actions. I would still pass the turn. And so I do that now as well, because I could potentially draw something that changes my opt decision, right? My opponent plays a Fabled Passage and goes to attacks. Now, a major point there. My opponent again played the land beforehand, and now I can either Blessed Alliance opt, I can do nothing, I can just opt, I can Blessed Alliance wait, and later opt, right? A few options. Basically, the point is, do you alliance now, or do you do nothing to have opt to see what you have to find later in the turn. For example, syncopate to hit the creature, right? Or planeswalker which lands. So you have to ask yourself, what could my opponent play to punish me for not having potentially a syncopate? Not a tireless tracker, because one, they would pay for it, kind of, but they would have to crack the passage. And second thing, they've already played the passage, so they probably don't have a tracker. I think they would leave it for the tracker. Okay, questing beast. No, they would have played the pre-combat. Okay, maybe a planeswalker. But what kind of planeswalker could they play? Like a Nissa, maybe? But like they wouldn't play 3-mana Nissa. But if, again, they would pay for it. So like I'm kind of going through all these options in my head as I play. And again, please do it quickly, because you have to play at a reasonable pace. And there is no card which I'd be like afraid of thinking about it. And I don't want to make a suboptimal play, let's say, because I don't know what could be there, right? If like there's like no idea, absolutely no idea what I would have to play around, let's just do the good play. So in this situation, I would just fire off a Blessed Alliance to keep the board clear, right? To be able to, to make them have to play more, right? Commit mana. What happens is they pass. Wait. They passed. They've got a discard spell. No, they would have cast it. They've got a removal spell. Okay, they've got 3 cards in hand, so probably like a mix of Fatal Pushes, Abrupt Decays, potentially, right? Maybe Assassin's Trophy. Or more expensive spells, like 5-mana Nissa, like Dark Petition, who knows, right? Seasons past. Or they want to use Castle Lochtwain. But I think that's impossible. I really doubt they'd prefer using Castle Lochtwain there to just committing to the board, because they have to kill me. So what I'm thinking about at this moment is they're probably full of removal, right? Non-discard, just like removal. Push, decay, Thoughtseize, Trophy. Okay, my turn is scripted. I have to cast Opt. I look what I get from Opt. Dig Through Time. Sign me up. Let's take Dig Through Time. And I draw Architect of Thought. Okay, so let's look. Dig Through Time. Right now, costs, right, 5 from the graveyard there, 5 from the graveyard there. So it basically costs 3 mana, right? Now, and I can look at 7 cards deep, take 2 at the best. Or I can play a land, I will play a land either way, and stick Jace Architect of Thought, right? And that's another big decision point. Do I play Jace now or later? Now, whenever you analyze a game, and analyze, for example, bluffs, or you read your opponent, like I did, right? I kind of read and analyzed my opponent's hand, right? Coming to a conclusion that they most probably just have a bunch of removal spells. If that's the case, I should take that into consideration when making my plays, right? I cannot now say, oh, actually, that wasn't true, right? If I hadn't gotten any new information. And the question is, what's better, having that information, a Jace or Dig? Okay, let's assume they've got Push and Decay. Which one's better? I think Jace is better, because one, he plays with the board, right? I can immediately down tick him, get some value off of it. If it dies, sure. If it doesn't, no problem. We exchange cards while the board is still clear, and it in the graveyard makes Dig later better. Or I can cast Dig now, right, in response to any action on the table, right, and then untap and play Jace, right, potentially. And so, if they have Trophy, however, my Jace dies immediately, right, which actually is a consideration, which makes me think, if I want to play Jace, I want to down take him immediately. And out of these two options, which I think are fairly close, I would I would probably play Jace, because it always costs 4 mana, and I just want to spend that 4 mana, right? While Dig can cost 2, and gives me an opportunity to potentially double spell next turn or the following turn, right? And that mana efficiency is crucial while your opponent casts, 1 spell a turn, right? And so I play a Castle Vantress. Now, why? I said preserve castles. I might have easily played Plains, right? And then played either castle, right, to be able to activate it right away. The thing here, we have got 2 different castles. If I do it like that, on the following turn, on turn 5, I will be able to use either castle because they will already have been played by me. While if I play Plains, I would have to play Ardenvale or Vantress and then use that one, right? So I would be cut off of one option. Okay, so I slam Jace because of that, and I down tick. Okay, these are the piles. My opponent thinks how to split them, and as you can see, they don't know what to do. Again, pause. Another decision point after Jace and Dig. Which pile would you take? Right? Which pile would you take? I just take the better pile with Supreme Verdict because that's the most powerful card, right? And you pass the turn. End step, they Murderous Rider it, and they untap. Perfectly fine, right? Yeah, actually, Murderous Rider is another very reasonable option, right? Which a lot of these decks play. So now, having seen that, for future games, that could be a consideration, right? Okay, I had not thought of Murderous Rider. That makes sense. They probably have plenty of them. And it's not about me getting value off of Jace, because obviously I'm up in this exchange very nicely. It's about the tempo plays, right? If I hadn't committed Jace, they wouldn't have been able to spend their mana. So they would be like, and I wouldn't, because I would still dig. The counter argument to that again is that not really, because they just would have used the Castle Lockway, right? So what I want to show is it's not easy. It's kind of complicated because you can kind of argument and a counter argument with yourself all the time and kind of see all the pros and cons of each play, right? Okay, they play Overgrown Tomb tapped, and they play the Murderous Rider with 2 cards in hand. Okay, so far so good. So they played basically an irrelevant creature. I draw another land. Okay, sure. So this was a misstep, right? I mean, watching it now, right? So it may have been either I just may have overlooked it, or just misclicked. Don't remember, right? Because both are why I just could have clicked, and so that's obviously wrong. And no reasons to do anything. There is a reason to do something. So let's think about it. I could double tap blue, cast Dig, right? Leaving 3 mana up, and try to find a walker, right? Do you remember my opt argument, right? If you can play the main phase, why not do it now? Which is true. However, if I find a 3 fairy, right, Time Raveler, I won't tick down on a Murderous Rider. I might tick up, but then what am I accomplishing? It just gets hits for 2, while it goes up by 1. I could find an Narset. But again, if I find Narset, she gets hit, and then I lose a card, basically, right? So what would you have done? What would you have done? Think about this for a moment. So what happens here is just basically what I said. I'm passing the turn to know exactly what I need to expect. I don't need to jump that walker, and it's suboptimal in this situation, right? Okay, so they proceed to attacks. They attack like I couldn't care less. Now they thought seize. That's awkward. So again, decision point. Do you do anything in response? Yes. they will take your dig through time, right? You will scry at the end of the turn, right? But you continue the game. However, if you cast dig, you will take 2 good cards off of dig, and they will discard one of them. So you are still up 1 card in this exchange. And if that's the case, it really makes me want to cast a dig, which shows me these. Cast out, right? Exile target non-land. Land, Spell Pierce, Syncopate. This pile is rubbish, to be honest. It's rubbish. But, okay, fine, sure, no, I would have been drawing these cards, so what would you take? What would you take? I don't remember what I did. I would have probably just taken Cast Out and Syncopate, because they're just the best cards. Let's see what I do. Yes, so past Philip, or past Skura, agrees. Okay, now do you Syncopate? Oh, no, you don't. No, just let them do the thing. Just, yeah, take whatever you want. Take whatever you need to take. They take Syncopate. Sure. And then they pass. Okay, so nothing's really going on there. Let me untap. Opt. 100% opt main phase. Because I could cast any walker off of this position. Opt. Okay, that's another thing. So it's 1 mana, but it digs you way deep, right? It's another opportunity to look 2 cards deep, right? So I take the opt because I'm not looking for anything specific. But now my decision is to pass because nothing's going on. If they want to attack, I just take the damage. I'm just afraid of some very specific cards which they could play. So I'm keeping ops and see, okay, let's see if I need to find an absorb or find a syncopate. Another point is that because this is what my mana looks like here, I will probably be using Castle Ardenvale either way because I want to be mana efficient. And I'd rather use the castle at the end of their turn rather than commit my opt. They just drew card with a Castle Lochthwain. Yeah, sure. Do your worst. They drew a card. Now they go to attacks, which again absolutely doesn't matter. Like this creature could even be absent on this battlefield, and they decide to commit a Grimflayer. Okay, 2 creatures now. I like that. And now I do what I said I would do. So I scry. Decision point. What do you do? I would probably just bottom the island and have Teferi on top, because then I think, okay, because I can plus my Teferi, right, for 3 mana, and I can play a land, and I've got exactly the mana to play instant speed Verdict, right? So let's do that, yeah. And so exactly that. Play a land, play a Teferi, see what they do. Do they respond in any way? They don't, so up to Teferi, go. Okay. Now they decide to Abrupt Decay. Now remember that his plus is still in place. It's still working, right? Because it's an ability. It's working, right? He doesn't have to be on the battlefield, so absolutely no problem. And it kind of confirms my read from 4 turns ago about, having some removal. Obviously, they may have drawn that, right? But they also hadn't had any targets for it. And, I have to trust myself. So if my read was correct on turn 4, that they have removal spells, they hadn't magically disappeared, they probably have them now still. Okay, my opponent goes to attacks, and I'm verdicting. So normally I probably wouldn't, I would just take the damage, but because it has some kind of effect on top of it, the card selection thing, okay, let's get rid of that finally. Sure, right? Yeah, let's just... Another Grimflayer, 1 card in hand. Pass. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's opt main phase. Let's do the same thing. Let's opt main phase. We can see Teferi. Yup. Sign me up. Now I minus, right? Just again, keeping the board clear. That's my point. That's it. Teferi is the best at its middle, at its last ability, just because of unsummon draw, and then let's see what happens. I draw a land. Because I've got 3 mana up, I want to shock in. Because, yeah, why? 2 things. If they play something like a questing beast, right, I can settle it. Or cast out it. If they play any planeswalker, I can cast out it, right? If they play something irrelevant, like another Scavenging Ooze, sure, I can let it be, right? Or I can cast out it again, right, to keep the board clear. What they do? So I want to shock in. They cast another Grimflayer. Turn. Sure. I mean, that was the bounced one, right? And they play Liliana. Resolves. They downtick it. I would expect that, yes. They drop a questing beast into the graveyard. And they... Let's see what they do. They pick up questing beast. So what I'm thinking about now is... So my plan with this hand is... Let's cast out the Liliana, right? And the following turn, they will play questing beast, smash with both, settle, right? So that's my plan going forward. Let's see what I draw. But I want to do that already. I want to do that now. Unfortunately, I couldn't, because my opponent conceded. Game 2. Okay, game 2. Now, let's look at the sideboard first. Okay, I took out 2 spell pierces because they are very creature-centric. And I took out 2 Blessed Alliance because this card is for aggressive matchups, like when I need removal, like I really need removal. Here, I don't care. The creatures are bad. I don't care, so just out. So, what did I bring in, right? You will have the list in the description, so think about it. I brought in the Mentors, right? Because they are just very good go-wide threat, which they have to deal with. And if it's timed properly, it's a beast. And 2, I brought in Ethergust, right? I brought Ethergust in because it counters anything and plays to the board. My opening hand. So I'm looking at this hand, and you think if you'd keep, I think snap keep, snappiest keep of all. But this hand teaches you something. Land sequencing in Blue-White Control in Pioneer. I've had people make fun of me, waiting turn 1 and thinking, right? This stereotypical control player thinking before playing a land. But here it's important. Think about that. With this hand, you have to do it specifically in the order Castle Vantress, Plains, Castle London Vale, right? And again, with time, it becomes more and more obvious, right? But sometimes it isn't, right? So just take your 20 seconds, figure out the lands, the sequence, and you'll be golden, right? And the hand is perfect. Turn to interaction, plays to the board, big creatures, big spells. That's great. Okay. So let's see what my opponent does. They play a Blooming Marsh and they cast a Discard spell. Yup. They can't do anything about that. Take Chase Architect of Thor. What does it tell me? It tells me that either that was a bad take, okay, but that's not what you want to do. You want to still think, you respect your opponent's position there. So maybe they want to go wide, but what cards would allow them to go wide? No. So what I'm thinking about, it's probably just the fact that it's the cheaper walker, and I could cast it turn 4. I think that's the reasoning. Okay, untap. 3 fairy. Again, ordering the cards, left to right. X on the left. Cost decreasingly to the right. So I do what I said. Castle Vantress go. And actually, I really like this hand because I can affect the board on 2 with a Charm and on 3 with a Teferi. So my opponent does, play Scavenging Ooze. Yup. Cast London Vale. Okay, that doesn't change too much. Doesn't change much. So, yeah, pass the turn. Now, my opponent plays a tapped land, goes to attacks. And now, what do you do? They don't. And that's my opponent kind of adjusting to what they have seen, how they have seen the Azorius Charms, the Blessed Alliance, and they think, I won't attack then, in order not to give them targets for removal. Wait. That doesn't make sense, does it? Because if they play creatures which don't do a lot when they don't attack, and they don't attack, what do they accomplish? So from our perspective, that's perfectly fine. That's great. Yeah, sure. Play your creature who doesn't attack. Play your defender. My opponent passes. Sure. So I know on turn 3 I will be slamming Teferi and bouncing. The board will be clear. Right? But I keep my Azorius Charm. I keep it, in case. There's no rush. There's no rush. Right? So let's do exactly what I said. Play Teferi, bounce, draw. I drew a Monastery Mentor, and they exile a card from a graveyard. Absolutely fine. What they do is they replay Scavenging Ooze, they play a land, and they pass again. So they will have this Ooze strategy, right? No problem. Now, what do you do? Okay, obviously we will take up Teferi, right? Obviously. What else? Because we could play another Teferi and minus. We could play a land and keep Azorius Charm / Syncope / Cast Out, right? We can slam Mentor and just slam Mentor. So because I want to be safe and because I want to be mana efficient, I think the best option is to play Cast London Vale and give myself the biggest number of options between Azorius Charm, Cast Out, and Syncopate. So this is exactly what I do. Now, my opponent is highly incentivized to attack the Teferi down, right? Which they finally do. And I'm thinking, okay, if I charm it, what won't I be able to syncopate? Okay, 3-mana Liliana. Not that scary. Tireless Tracker. They'd play the land. Yeah, what can a green-black deck play? No, scary, right? And to be clear, I actually might let it hit, because this Teferi is useless. I don't care. Again, he's great because he affects the board state. The passive is cherry on top. I played it. I affected the board state, drew a card, and I'm absorbing 2 damage. That's perfectly fine. Don't overprotect little Teferi. Okay, so I decided to let it hit because actually that's not scary. I see nothing happened. I've got 6 cards in hand. So what should I do? Okay, nothing yet because they are eating my graveyard away. Sure. And now I want to cast a Cast Out. Do I like this play from my own side? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if now looking at it now, if I'd prefer just cycling Azorius Charm to be able to make sure that I hit my 5th land, right? And especially as I can still next turn Teferi minus the Ooze. So not 100% sure that was good. Now we've got, so the first game was very easy, right? It just went smooth. Now this one is a bit more complicated. Now what do you do? Do you play Mentor and opt? Do you just opt and try to hit a land and then keep mana up? Do you play Teferi, little one? There are a few options there. Think what you would do and why. I think a lot of options are viable. But what I want to focus on is hitting my land drops. That's how I win the game. I've got powerful spells, right? Especially Monastery Mentor. And if I just play Mentor Opt, right, and they kill it, I will have one token which doesn't attack through Ooze or Grimflay and doesn't block that well. no, again, for example, Grimflay or Questing Beast. So there is probably no need to do that. And as you could see, I actually wanted to cast a Mentor, but I decided not to, right? And so what will I do? I actually pass. Again, in hindsight, and I not like, I don't, not like the progression of the game, but like looking at this now, I would probably risk it to draw a land. However, another perspective is, why would you need a 5th land so desperately if everything is under control? You can syncopate a spell, right? You can Azorius Charm, right? A creature. If they play a very expensive spell, you can just Sensor, so to speak, the spell, and then oh no, you can't do that. Right? So that's the safe play. That's the safe play, right? Which I think is, again, fine. Yeah, Scavenging Ooze, sure, resolves. Plays a land. Now, my opponent very weirdly tapped the castle, which is surely a misplay. Again, happens, right? So, they pass the turn. So now I have to dig for a land, and I will. So let's just opt. Let's just opt. Opt shows me an Absorb, not want that. Still draw an Absorb, sure. Now my opponent says, wait, let's eat everything from a graveyard. No props, man. Okay, I'll draw a land. Okay, I'll play a land. Now I can double spell. I can play Teferi Azorius Charm. I can play Teferi Hold Up Syncopate. I can pass. Hold up Absorb Syncopate. Hold up Absorb Azorius Charm. Or I can play Teferi. Oh, so many options, God, so many options. So I think this. So what? I want to be consistent. I held up mana previously with Syncopate to be safe. And because I thought something scary could happen, and if that's the case, that hasn't changed much, and I still want to hold up that. So looking at this now, I would probably pass, and then see what happens. I want to cast a Teferi. Could you? Yeah, you saw that. I want to cast a Teferi. No. Now I want to cast a 5 fairy. And will I? Let's see if I'm going to do it. I am, right? And this is fascinating, because you can see that I myself play differently depending on the time, the way I'm thinking, the situation, the moment, so that's fascinating, right? It's obviously Teferi up, because I want to have mana up this turn. The Noxious Grasp It. Okay, something to note, right? If there is a game 3, have to remember about that. Okay, sure. I draw a dig off of Teferi, I untap 2 lands. I untap these because I cannot be Field of Ruin off of them. Oh no, whatever else, they're just safe lands. Now the attack. Now realistically, I won't probably be able to syncopate anything meaningful at this point with just 2 mana, so let's just get rid of the threat and make them have to play second one. Course of Crofix, doesn't matter. Now again, the same situation. Not a lot of lands. Let's play it. Let's play to the board. Let's play to the board. Basically, the way I approach mid-range matchups is just... Basically, you are blue Jund, let's say, right? Just kind of play to the board, play your good spells, just do your best all the time. So I bounce it, I don't draw a land, so I opt. I want to draw a land, I see a land, I take a land, I pass. Having played, I did draw another card. No problem. But we've got everything here. And that's what you have to think about. What? What do I lose to? Okay? So because you can feel very comfortable, right? I've got so many good stuff here. What do I lose to? What kind of spells do I have to play around not to throw this game away, right? Okay, they play Courser, they play Blooming Marsh, they throw Thoughtseize on top, I don't care. Now they play what? Scavenging Ooze, I don't care, no problem. Okay, so let's pass the turn. Okay, let's up the Teferi. Right, let's play a Mentor finally. Because now I've set up a situation where I can opt, where I can syncopate opt, where I can absorb, Or the best situation, which is what I'm going for, is opt, find a land, hold, absorb, up. Right? And that's like the best situation, right? So let's see what opt show. Oh yes, thank you very much. So I shove that in, pass, right? And now basically I feel like I cannot lose this game. They play Thoughtseize, I play an absorb. Okay, and I just let the turn play. Let's see what happens. Triggers. Triggers, triggers, triggers. They cannot attack, no problem. Now they play tracker. Sure, they eat something. Sure, no problem. Play land off the top. Have a clue. Wait, what just happened? The previous turn, it was like, nothing really. And now they've got a clue, double castle, 3 creatures, tireless tracker, and Grimflay on top. And that's what I'm talking about. So I'm not saying we're in a bad shape. I'm saying, whoa, we have to be always careful because there are some sequences which you could be scared of. And again, what should you do? Right? What should you do? Now, there is no danger of dying. We just don't want to be outground here, right? So, I cast a cast out on the tracker to get rid of it, right? While triggering prowess. I haven't used the Teferi yet. I don't attack because they could like double block my Monastery Mentor or something. Haven't? Or maybe I have, I just missed. I myself missed it. Okay, they're eating a clue. Sure. Now I'm holding a Syncope, which will probably be kind of useless in this game in general. And if that's the case, I'm just casting it. I say, this Syncope is dead this game. Just pay 2 more, right? And then, no problem. While triggering everything. Okay, so I've triggered everything. I cast a Syncopate. They don't pay. Okay, they draw a card from castle and they play a Liliana. So they could have had that sequence because they didn't play. Whoa, that was fast, that was fast. sorry. So they use the castle, they drew a card off the top, which was Liliana, because you couldn't see it here. They played the Kill the Monk. Now I used a Teferi. I drew a card off of that because I bounced a creature, if I remember. I don't remember now, and I can't rewind because MTGO, so that's rubbish. But you will know what I did with Teferi. I drew a card because I really wanted to draw a card. I think I may have bounced the cast out to have a cast out for Liliana. I think, but that's probably the case. And now I use a cast out, but remember about the trick, right? Teferi on cast out again while triggering everything, and I think the board is so good, and I can use Azorius Charm in the combat. Or in combat, right? You know, let's see how they block. Make them have to make good blocks, right? See how they block. Okay. This is 1, 2, 3 creatures, so it's 6 damage. 6 damage. If I use a charm, it's 9, right? Like drawing. I decide to draw. Why? Because I want to kill them if I draw well. If I don't, no problem. I will just trade my mentor for 2 scavenging oozes, which puts me in a very good situation, right? In a very good spot. So let's do that. I draw another Azorius Charm, which makes them go from 9 to 12, which is lethal. And that's how you win. That's how you win. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching that. That was a bit too long, maybe. Let me know in the comments below if you liked it, if you enjoyed it, if that was informative or not. That's my first video, so you know all the things. Tell me everything you want, everything you need. Comment, like, subscribe, and see you next time. Cheers.